Well, welcome, and happy Tuesday to everyone. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm your host, David. I'm playing Huffman. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins, and our other co-host, Mr. Matthew James. Welcome into the show, my friends. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be talking about the Justin Fields trade, and we're also going to be talking about the winners and losers so far in NFL free agency. There are still some notable names available in NFL free agency, but most of the names that people know have been scooped up. Welcome to the show. Please like, share, and subscribe. We bring you guys almost daily content, including a mock draft tomorrow, 1.0 from Prime Sports World. If you go over to the Prime Sports World website right now, you can actually read the mock draft that Izzy put together. I will drop that into the comments section right now. So go check that out. But yeah, let's get right into it without wasting any time. How are you guys today?
Made an appointment for it.
Good.
Let's get right into it. Let's talk about the Bears first. Obviously, the big talking point was it Friday or Saturday, where Justin Fields was finally traded from the Chicago Bears to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bears get a conditional sixth-round pick out of this draft that can become a fourth depending on how much playing time Justin Fields has as a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's just talk about this for both sides. Let's start with Chicago because we got 3 Chicago Bears fans in the house right now on the show. Let's just talk about this on the Chicago side.
Well, it's the organization finally doing something right by this dude. Like, it was fresh starts needed all around. I've said it time and time again, I hate the fact that Justin Fields has been labeled what he's been labeled, and not enough blame has been placed on the organization for how they did him. You fire the GM and the head coach that drafted him. The next regime comes in the following year and completely blows up the team and gives him scraps, like not even scraps of the scraps to go in and play with and work with. The one solid thing you did his third year was give him DJ Moore, and only 2 dudes were reliable on that offense in the passing game, which was DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. And then you wondered why it didn't work. The offensive coordinator didn't know how to use them properly at all times. It was trash all around, and he was the one that paid the price, unfortunately.
Yeah, on the other side of this, I mean, for the Bears, I mean, you get to kind of. I wish if they were really going to do this, I probably would have fired the head coach, and I would have moved on from Matty Eberflus. Yes, he did some good stuff down the stretch last season, but I think if you're going to bring in a new quarterback to play from this team, I think you need to have you got to have the head coach. Because if Matty Eberflus struggles this season, he's going to get fired. And we're going to have the same cycle that we've seen in Chicago for the last decade since Jake Cutler was here, since Lovie Smith was here.
But that's a big if, and nothing that he did defensively indicates that he's going to struggle this year.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll see. So that's a big if. But I think Justin Fields needed a fresh start. The Chicago Bears, they just needed to turn divorce and go to their separate ways. And I give a lot of credit to Chicago and the front office here. They had other trades on the table, get with better draft compensation, with better getting a better assets back in return. But Justin Fields wanted to go to Pittsburgh. He's going to have an opportunity to probably start for games here and there for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because let's not pretend like Russell Wilson's been tearing it up for the last 2 years. He's been kind of trash too. So I think a fresh start for the front office, a fresh start for the Justin Fields. This was a divorce that needed to happen. It basically was inevitable from the last couple of seasons.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I said something to you guys about this whole, GM, head coach, quarterback, carousel that we've been going through the last decade and a half since Cutler got here. It's like new quarterback, new coach, GM, new quarterback, new coach, GM. I mean, it's like you got to, stick with what the, head coach wants instead of, keep cycling through this. I mean, as you guys said, as David mentioned, Eberflus. I mean, you might as well just get rid of him now. I mean, if you're going to go with Caleb Williams or whoever, go get a coach
I
that
think that's a
you know
little
wants
unfair.
to work with
I
him.
was a little premature. I mean, Matty
Yeah,
Blue
but
showed he could really become he's a really good defensive coordinator, defensive coach
he
last
is.
season, and
But
that's what his calling card is.
and it also takes it's a total team effort. Like that's why they say football is the ultimate team sport, because Ryan Poles had to give him adequate pieces to work with. Yannick, yeah, like when your best pass rusher is Unique Ngakoue, you're only going to get so far. But then you go out and you get a Montez Sweat.
Mm-hmm.
That completely changed everything.
And you saw those rookies that they drafted over the last couple seasons, and especially in the secondary. Those guys really developed last year. Like they got better.
They got better, and then it's like, unfortunately, this also like everybody. Like I'm all for NFL players getting their money. Hey, get your money, because the NFL really stands for not for long. So we lost Justin Jones. I love Justin Jones. Like he was a perfect cog into the defensive scheme that the Bears have. But you drafted two rookies last season in Pickens and why is the other kid's name's escaping me? You're hopeful that they can go right in and fill that gap, especially Pickens, because I think he played more than the other kid. We drafted two DTs last draft. You're young in the secondary. They're young in all the right places.
Yeah. So Andrew Billings, Michael Domafor, and then Zach Pickens. Yes,
it was.
And they have Greenman Texter Senior too, who's a pretty good footballer. He was a second round pick last year or something like that.
It was Billings and Pickens. I think matter of fact they probably played the same amount of time now that I think about it. But if you're the Bears, like, and y'all saw my status on Facebook, Matt, you liked it a couple hours ago. Yeah. No first overall pick, especially the quarterback, is going into a situation this goddamn good. DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Keenan Allen,
a pretty built up offensive line, and you have DeAndre Swift in the backfield as your running back.
Yeah.
And a top 5 run game.
Easy.
What quarterback has ever inherited that? Coming out of college,
those first Ben Roethlisberger teams, baby, like those were pretty.
Think about that. No, think about that. Like, how long ago was that? 20 years?
20 years. Yeah, 20 years. On the other side, swinging away from the Chicago side of this, let's talk about the Pittsburgh side. Yes. So for Pittsburgh, you now have a quarterback room that has Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, basically paying those guys a combined total of $5 million for this upcoming season, and you have no ties to either of them after this season. If this does not work for Pittsburgh, they get to wash their hands of it, and they both.
My bad. I got an NIT game on, and they just screwed Georgia.
Good. So, but the Pittsburgh Steelers now they have Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. On the Pittsburgh side of this, what do you guys think of this move for Pittsburgh?
Oh, you like as trash, quote unquote trashy as Russell Wilson has been. He's really only had one bad year, and that was 2 years ago when he first got to Denver. That year was terrible. Last year, as bad as they were, as bad as he was, as bad as Fields were, they were still better than every quarterback that played for the Pittsburgh Steelers last season. That is right. They like Mike Tomlin won 10 games with horrible quarterback play. That much is true.
He's clearly upgraded the position to quarterback. I also think that gives them, like, if this works out, I mean, Justin Fields, if you can revive him, I mean, he could be the franchise guy there in Pittsburgh. I mean, you would have to pick up his 5th-year option or even extend him this offseason.
It could very easily be that.
This is a team that has some talent. I mean, you got a decent offensive line as long as they continue building it off to the draft. I mean, George Pickens is a fantastic wide receiver.
He's engaged.
They traded DeAndre Johnson, but you have Najee Harris and the other running back that's on this team, Jalen Warren. And then you have what is it? That tight end. His name is totally escaping me right now. Firemouth. Thank you, TJ, coming in on the clutch. But yeah, I just think that this is the Pittsburgh. This is a pretty good situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers to be in. Like,
yes, sir.
You have.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. I'm just agreeing with you.
Oh, so I mean, like you have Russell Wilson on a really basically a prove it deal, right? Like if he could
Mhm.
prove that he could continue to play in the NFL because he thinks he's going to get another contract. Like he thinks he's going to get
As he
paid one more time.
should.
Like,
As he should.
yeah.
I don't know what I don't know what happened to Matt. Matt just left us. But yeah, like so basically I think they had came out and said something that basically Justin is not expected to compete for the starting quarterback job. Like that's what they said. That's what Justin said. He's gonna learn on the like it's not. And truth be told, Russell Wilson, you like there's a lot worse you could try to learn from, right? Like Russell Wilson.
And their play style is similar enough.
Very similar. Very like, especially younger.
Obviously Justin has a little more athleticism right now.
You could really make the argument that hell, Justin Fields is more athletic than Russell's ever been.
Yeah.
But the play style is still similar.
He's gonna hold the ball for a long time back there, but like
I think the thing they want Justin to work on, and he can learn this from Russell, is like you said, hey, get rid of the ball. Hey, if it's not there, don't wait. Just get rid of it. Do something. Your legs is your best asset. Like, don't be afraid to use them. And the intermediate, like they both throw a beautiful deep ball.
Yeah, it's all the other like all those other throws that they seem to struggle with, like middle of the field, check downs, crossing routes.
That's where Justin tends to. I think that's the one thing they want Justin to work on, like the intermediary routes. Like Russell can get him to get those. Like, hey, make those throws, do that, all that good stuff. If you're Pittsburgh, again, you play in the hardest division in football when everybody's healthy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like everybody wants to love Joe Burrow. Like the big thing about Joe Burrow, hey bro, can you stay healthy? I'm tired of he's been to this and this. Yeah, he also can't. The injury prone that y'all want to give Lamar Jackson, it's really Joe Burrow. Lamar ain't never missed a whole season. He might miss a few games. He ain't never missed a whole season. All right. Deshaun Watson, if you're Cleveland, you're hoping Deshaun Watson can come back and do something.
Do something. Besides have one of the worst contracts in the NFL right now. But yeah, I think in Pittsburgh, I think the Steelers is a really savvy move by their front office. I mean, Omar Khan is a GM there.
Omar Khan,
yeah, he took over for I don't remember the guy's name, but he's built a pretty solid team here, and I like what they've done this offseason. And that kind of swings us right into their winners and losers when we talk about NFL free agency. Let's talk about winners and losers. I got Pittsburgh Steelers as one of my winners. I like getting Russell Wilson on the cheap, trading for Justin Fields on a pretty team friendly contract where you don't have to you didn't have to give up too much to get him. They have done a good job of building this team around, because this is a Steelers team that kind of feels like they're just a quarterback away from being really competitive. And now you have you got two dice rolls on this, and then they added Patrick Queen, take it from the Baltimore Ravens.
So, you stole him from a rival.
Yeah. If you punter, you got Miles Killebrew coming back at safety. Sean Elliott comes back. He's a former Baltimore Raven. What's up, Izzy? So
what's going on?
So Pittsburgh, they're one of my winners when it comes to
and
NFL
they upgraded offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. Unfortunately, got fired out of Atlanta. I think he got hired like the next day or two as the OC in Pittsburgh. Now, don't get me wrong, the offensive bar is in hell if you're Pittsburgh, right? It's not going to be hard to improve from Matt Canada. It's not going to be that hard.
And on top of that, let's not forget Arthur Smith when he was the offensive coordinator. He had Ryan Tannehill playing like an all-pro.
Didn't he?
Ryan Tannehill hasn't done shit since Arthur Smith left.
Arthur Smith got him paid, bro.
100%. What's up, Izzy? Welcome to the show, man. We're doing winners and losers NFL free agency. So let's talk about winners and losers. Who do you guys got as your other winners and losers?
I like when
Pittsburgh winners.
As much as it annoyed me, again on first take, I can't knock what Pittsburgh did. Obviously, I got the Bears winning. Izzy said something in the group chat, like it don't matter at this point. It really don't matter who they get at quarterback in the draft. They should all be able to. They should all be able to perform relatively well with the surrounding cast that is being provided for them. Let's be fucking for real. Like like if you're one of these young dudes and you see that you walk into a room and you got Shane Waldron as the OC, you got DeAndre Swift in the backfield, Komet at tight end, Keenan Allen, and
They got Gerald Everett who they signed too.
Gerald Everett at tight end.
And you have two picks in the top 10 that you could take on Romeo Dunze, the kid from Washington. Like this is the Bears are also one of my winners. Like
Keenan Allen and DJ Moore.
Man, they definitely make me jealous, man.
On the other side of the ball, you add Kevin Bynard, add Jonathan Owens, get Gerald Everett on a pretty team-friendly contract. Like the Bears, like this front office with Brian Poles at the helm has done a really good job of roster construction outside of one position, right? Like,
well, yeah, no, I mean the Bears have done an excellent job. I mean, if Caleb Williams is who he says he is, I mean, well, obviously we all seen college football. He's an amazing talent. But I mean, what like you guys said, for everything you guys mentioned, man. I mean, what they've done, putting Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett. I mean, rated in a way.
Underrated.
I mean, well, the thing is with Gerald Everett, he's still young.
He disappears from time to time.
Like, yeah, well, no, he's still young, and I think it just like injuries have been a slight of a concern the last couple seasons for him. I think if you can have him healthy, he's one of the more better talents at the tight end position in the league.
I mean, the talent of Gerald Everett has never been in question. It's literally just been like, can he stay on the football field? And he's had a hard time doing that.
Right. So and then like you said, you guys bring up the two picks. Honestly, you guys probably talked a lot about the Bears. You talked about Justin Fields and all that good stuff. Obviously, the Steelers are winners. I mean, for getting Justin Fields for basically a 6th-round pick. And if he plays more than 50% of the snaps, which he probably should this year, I don't know. I think I don't feel too confident about Russell Wilson. That pick turns into a 4th-round pick for the Bears. So so Bears fans are still kind of rooting for Justin Fields in a way, but Pittsburgh to get a talent like Justin Fields, but also for them to basically get a talent like Justin Fields, get a veteran like Russell Wilson. You got two quarterbacks that, can possibly, win you games. Obviously, last year, Justin Fields had a better QBR than Russell Wilson. There was some some dysfunction there in Denver. But, after this year, Pittsburgh, they got those guys on 1-year deals. Like, they don't have to, commit to any of those guys outside of this year. Yeah. And so, like, that's a very underrated, signing for Pittsburgh. I also want to say the Houston Texans. I mean, they did,
great offseason.
Trading for Joe Mixon, getting that linebacker.
Get Danielle Hunter on a pretty
Danielle Hunter. Contract. Yeah, man. I mean, the Houston Texans really.
Aziz
Alshire. Dude, they are literally taking advantage.
Added Jeffrey Okudah, like.
This is what the Green Bay Packers should be doing, since they don't got to pay Jordan Love really.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like they're taking advantage of CJ Stroud.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of the fact that they got a quarterback on a rookie deal, like Jonathan Grenard. Atlanta, another team like Kirk Cousins, Darnell Mooney. I mean, that's a real good get there. I mean,
I gotta give a big shout out to Jacksonville for not paying Calvin Ridley though. Yeah. I mean,
Calvin Ridley had 1,000 yards last season. He's a good wide receiver, but
they paid his ass a lot of money. Tennessee did.
Is he $96 million a year good or $92 million? I'm not so sure.
$50 million guaranteed.
Yeah, I also
free agency ain't about who's best; it's about who's free, right? You want me like we're at the stage where players basically dictate their worth. Like, you want me, hey, this is my price tag. Either give me what I want,
and it also allows the Tennessee Titans to build around Will Levis sufficiently for at least one season. Like, hey, we're giving you DeAndre Hopkins and
I'm so glad that Tennessee has finally made a decision on that. It's apparent now. It's Will Levis. It's his team. We're gonna go as far as Will Levis takes us. So Malik Willis.
What about the Minnesota Vikings?
Oh no, they lose.
Right. You think they lose this? No, because they get that extra first round pick. They got the extra first round pick, and then they got Aaron Jones. Yeah, Aaron Jones. They added 3 solid defensive players. I mean, now you have 2. You have
lost Kirk Cousins, lost Daniil Hunter,
yeah,
lost.
Yeah, but you're gonna start young. You're going younger at quarterback.
Osborne.
You're probably gonna go get J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix or even Michael Penix Jr. for that matter. I don't think he'll go in the late first round. His stock is falling. But either one of those 2 guys, and then you still have a top 15 pick or the number 11 pick as well. So I think the Minnesota Vikings, you still have Justin Jefferson.
I
think you still have Jordan Addison.
I think they're trading into the top 10. I don't think you trade for 2 first round picks unless you're going to make that move. So
into the top 10 to get what? To get who? A quarterback?
Yeah, they're for sure going to be.
They try to get Jaden Daniels. I don't think New England is going to let that like New England or Washington, because those 2 guys are going to be gone.
I think that's what happens
by 2 and 3.
I think that's what happens. I think they see. So it is very likely that 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks. 1,
2, 3. Yeah, absolutely. It'll be Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels.
And then you gotta get over the Giants, who could potentially take a quarterback. I doubt it at 6.
I doubt it.
Nah, they shouldn't do that.
I mean, Minnesota could potentially stay pat at 11 and hope that nobody trades up above them, like New Orleans or Vegas or Denver,
who also need quarterbacks.
Yeah, like Chicago at 9. And Chicago seems like a 8. Atlanta too. Like all 4 of those teams actually. Like every team 4 through 10. Like I could see all of those teams potentially trading back.
Who's still out there on free agency? I'm not going to cut you off, but isn't like a guy like Carson Wentz? Like a Ryan Tannehill or Carson Wentz could be a nice bridge gap quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings this season. While they develop a young guy at 23.
They already got the guy that they think is going to have.
Oh, and Brian and Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. They already got the guy who's going to be quote unquote taking that role over. So
yeah, that is true.
My other winner is also the Kansas City Chiefs. I like what Kansas City did. Locking up Chris Jones, that was real important. But getting Marquise Brown is a low key, really nice move. Like he is a good football player. Getting Erskine Jr. too, another guy who's got some talent if he can ever stay healthy and put it all together.
Both of those guys need to stay healthy.
Losing Nick Allegretti was tough.
Nick Allegretti, that was tough. That's tough.
Yeah, but
that's tough.
I mean, they straight up couldn't afford him at the contract he signed with the Washington Commanders. But I like what Kansas City did this offseason so far.
And they could still potentially lose L'Jarius Sneed, so keep an eye on that.
They're going to. There have been reports
that tag and trade stuff that has not died down, not even a little bit.
There have been reports that trade between them and the Colts is basically done.
Done?
They just got it done. They just have to the contract has to be figured out between the Colts and Sneed. As soon as those details are worked out, that trade's done.
Hey, and I kind of want to touch back a little bit on the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields a little bit about because a lot of people are really criticizing the Bears for getting that low of a pick, but they literally had no other choice because they were literally letting Justin choose what destination he wanted to go to because he had that no trade clause, right? So he literally can choose wherever he wanted to go to.
He did not have a no trade clause.
He don't have
not no trade.
They just want to do right by the kid. Like they was like, hey, we have other offers with better. Like David said, there were 4 other teams that wanted Justin Fields. And
it's also the market.
And they had better trade. They had better trade compensation available, but they let Justin pick where he wanted to go. I guarantee you, those other 4 teams don't have a Mike Tomlin coaching the team. Guaranteed.
But also it's the market, right? So you got all the quarterbacks, going once, Mac Jones went for like a 6th rounder or whatever. It was hard to get a 2nd or a 3rd rounder for Justin Fields. That's just for everybody to know out there.
Mention, all the teams that quote unquote needed a quarterback, they all kind of got guys during the cycle of free agency, and so the market for Justin Fields just wasn't there.
Well, this is the one thing I disagree with. Now you got all the people who said that Fields should have been traded last year at the deadline. You got them saying, "See, I told you," but it's you didn't you couldn't predict the future. Yeah. You didn't expect shit to go down the way it went down, right? Now, the one thing I will say is this: both sides played a role in this downfall. I ain't finna sit here and act like Justin wasn't innocent and his hands are clean in this. Justin definitely could have played better. There were definitely plays that could have been made to cement his case as to why he should still be here, but he didn't make them, or he didn't make enough of them. Right?
I would say his development. He made strides this year, but it just wasn't the strides that the Bears wanted it. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he got better, but it wasn't as good as like what they wanted him to be better as a 30-year quarterback. They wanted him to exponentially be better, and he wasn't that. And also him being hurt a little bit this season.
A lot of because of those Josh Allen, the people were like comparison, like those Josh Allen, like his 3rd-year jump, like a lot of that comparison was made.
Yeah, because his first 2 years were very similar,
and he didn't live up to the Josh Allen level of expectation, which is insane expectations to have for a guy, anyways.
Don't get me wrong. Like, again, this is where there were still wins, there were still games that the Bears could have won and should have won. Like, I get if Justin leads his team to 9-8, he's probably still here.
Man, look, if they beat the Green Bay Packers in the last game of the season, they probably still here.
But then again, Izzy, if they beat Green Bay, they go there. That's 8-9 versus 7-10. And not only did he lose that last game, didn't look good either. Right? So
doesn't help that your OC was screenplaying every team to death.
I got one more winner before we move on into the losers, and for me, it's actually running backs. So we went through like a phase where running backs were just not getting contracts and not getting paid. We saw multiple running backs get paid by the teams that they were not on to play football next season, like Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones. We saw running backs legit get paid this offseason. And we went through last offseason where there's a lot of conversation about the running back position and the future of that position. It's nice to see fair compensation for what they bring to the football field.
But here's Joy Taylor said it on the sports show she's on with Acho and LaShawn McCoy, and I think is it James Jones? She was like, you can't devalue. You can't devalue running backs. Like, no matter how hard you try, you just can't do it because they're asked to do so much, and because of how many times they touch the ball. Like, they probably touched the ball the second most amount of times outside the quarterback. You cannot just say, "Oh, I can get this Isaiah Pacheco in the draft," and expect it to work out. Isaiah Pacheco, as great as his story is, he's a diamond in the rough. Like, you don't get a lot of Isaiah Pacheco's in the draft.
But you can get an Isaiah, but you can get something similar. You know what I'm saying? That's why they don't get paid after their 4th year, because they take so much damage. And you got to think about it. Those running backs are getting the ball, especially a premium running back, especially like a Zeke Elliott, right? Who started breaking down after his 5th year, 6th year. They're getting like 250
their touches and the way
they're getting like 250, 300 touches a year. And they're getting slammed by middle linebackers left and right, offensive linemen. It's hard to.
But when do we hold the teams accountable for, like, the offense is accountable for that? Right? Like, Zeke, like, everybody wants to say, "Oh, Zeke fell off." Yeah, because Zeke was getting 500 touches.
Yeah, he was getting a lot of touches.
Are we not going to hold the Cowboys accountable for basically force feeding him the ball?
I mean, but that's kind of the way the NFL is.
That's
always been.
That's the way it's going.
But I think the difference is now, and the way roster construction's been set up, they have a lot of these GMs in front office that are just like, "Hey, we can get a guy who does like a quarter of, like, a 3/4 of this for like a quarter of the money, and we can just run his career under the ground." Like,
the elite running backs in the league don't start to break down after the 5th. I mean, you might see a slight decline, but they don't start to fully break down. Like, you got Curtis Martin. Like, well, let's talk about the 2000s. Latavius Thompson, Curtis Martin. Adrian Peterson, Frank Gore. Those guys are Hall of Famers, right? You know what I'm saying? Those are the elite running backs. Then you got your second tier guys that after their 4th or 5th year, the production just starts to just completely fall off. Like so, it's going to the draft to go get you another running back that has fresh legs is
Makes
pretty much
sense.
it makes sense pretty much.
To the other side of this, not everybody can be a winner. Let's talk about some losers when it comes to NFL free agency. And I'm going to start with probably the most obvious loser. It's the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones was all in this offseason. What if he's all in? I'd hate to see him all out.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. This is why I'm going to say you're wrong. Why? Because every year they sign somebody, right? They sign the Brandon Cooks. They trade for Stephon Gilmore. They do something like that, and then it's this is the year. You can't have expectations if you don't make no moves.
I mean,
right?
Yeah, but Jerry said that they were all in.
So
we're all in.
They're all in. Guess who has to get paid on their team? Micah. Guess who else has to get paid? CeeDee Lamb. Guess who else is up for a contract extension? Dak. He's all in. He ain't losing none of them.
I still think they're a loser. Losing.
You know who's a loser? The Los Angeles Chargers are losers, in my opinion. Like you're getting Jim Harbaugh, you have Justin Herbert, who was injured last year, and then you give up Mike Williams. And you give up Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler is gone in free agency.
And
now at the top of
who is playing wide receiver?
And Gerald Everett. You got Joshua Palmer and Quentin Johnson, hamburger hands, and T-Rex arms.
The Cowboys lost Tyler Biadasz, Tony Pollard, Tyron Smith, like starting members. Jonathan Hankins, who was good for this team, members of this team.
Tyron Smith couldn't even stay on the. Tyron Smith has not been on the field.
He played every game last season. I'm pretty sure.
No, he did not. No way he
did.
played every game last season. No way.
We'd have to check that. We'd have to fact check that and see if he did play every game.
Check it right now.
I could have sworn. Did he play every game? Because I could have sworn he was out for a couple. If he was out for a couple games, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, that's just like the equivalent of like me saying Keenan Allen missed 12 games last season.
I don't really know how.
He has not played a full season since 2015.
Granted, he tore his tricep.
He's played majority. Like, all right, so since 2015, 13, 13, 13, 13, 2, 11, 4, 13. Come on, David.
He played 13 games last season. That's all but 4.
That's not that bad. It's not that bad. That's why you need that depth at tackle, baby. That's why you need that depth at tackle. Yeah, but you said they played every game, I guess.
I did say that.
Yeah.
So technically,
right. I mean, we all could be wrong. I said fucking Justin Fields has no trade club. Justin Herbert, though. I mean, like, what are they gonna do in Los Angeles, man? With no weapons. I mean, they're gonna draft a wide receiver in Roma Dunze or whoever, but
they built the team. They built the team in Harbaugh's image, right? Like they built the team in Harbaugh's image. Like, and like you said, like it's plenty of receivers for them to go out there and get. Now, unfortunately, the terrible thing about this is Quentin Johnson. He left a lot to be desired his rookie year. He was not the player that this was not the Quentin Johnson they expected to get.
I mean, he wasn't good for them last season.
That's what I'm saying. This is not the Quentin Johnson they expected to get coming out of TCU, right? Like the Quentin Johnson that literally destroyed the Quentin Johnson that literally destroyed Harbaugh in Michigan. Yeah, they thought, hey, we finna get this dude. We finna have Mike Williams, him, and Keenan Allen, and we just finna race up and down the field on everybody. No, like Izzy called them hamburger hands. Terrible.
And then I got 3 other losers. I just think that these guys are all kind of fall into the same category of just kind of casualties because of your cap situation. It's the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, and the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, the Ravens got Derrick Henry, but they also lost a bunch of players off their team.
It doesn't matter if they had Derrick Henry, right? Because they're still the number 1 running team. They're going to be a great running team regardless of Derrick Henry. That's their identity. So adding Derrick Henry, I guess, makes them, I guess, whatever, a little bit better. But
the issue with Baltimore is you have to remember who you are.
So they lost Patrick Queen, Geno Smith, Ronald Darby, and their left guard, John Simpson, all in one offseason. They still have not signed Kevin Zeitler and Odell Beckham Jr. They lost Gus Edwards. J.K. Dobbins is probably going to be gone. They lost Javion Clowney.
Yeah. at the end of the day, it's like
it's.
Well, we can't say that about Jay. Clowney was an excellent part of their deal. And losing him and Queen, Patrick Queen was pretty big.
Yeah, that was.
But I mean, it's the Baltimore Ravens, man.
They'll be
I mean,
right.
what do they do better? What do they do best, man?
They'll be all right.
They will definitely be all right, man. They are gonna replace those guys either in the draft or whatever they have. I don't know what the hell they have on the team. I'm not looking at their depth chart right now. But at some point, I mean, they'll do a good job drafting, whoever the hell they need to draft to replace those guys. I mean,
and then Buffalo, I mean, losing Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer,
which is why they should be on the phone with Justin Simmons.
Both of them
should be. And then they lose Mitch Morris in a trade with the Chicago Bears to play center. They also lost another just key pieces on this. Like Gabe Davis is gone. I don't really understand that Curtis Samuel contract. Giving him $10 million a year, he's a fine receiver. Is he $10 million a year fine? I don't think so. So,
well, you're saying that because you're basing it off the stuff he did in Washington.
No, I was aware of him what he did in Carolina. I'm aware of the talent that's there.
He's been in two bad places with bad quarterback play, David. Come on, kid.
Okay, all
right. Curtis Samuel, baby.
Josh Allen's going to be the best.
We're just giving. They lost Leonard Floyd, who was their best edge rusher last season. It's just
because Von Miller was. Not he's going through.
He was not Von Miller-ish when he hurt.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, they did ask Nicholas Morrow, who's a fine linebacker, but it's just like key names on this defense. Naheem Hines, another running back that they lost on this team. But yeah, and then the Miami Dolphins. I mean, they lost a bunch of guys. I mean, we all clowned the Robert Hunt contract from the Carolina Panthers, but he was a key piece on that offensive line.
Y'all clowned the Robert Hunt contract. That was y'all.
Yeah. You lost Christian Wilkins. You lost Brandon Jones. You're
not paying that much for a guard.
Jerome Baker is no longer on this team. Deshaun Elliott's gone. Like they've just lost a bunch of guys on this roster.
Yeah,
I do like the Shaquille Barrett trade contract sign. I think he's going to be rejuvenated.
I think. Well, obviously, you trying to replace Christian Wilkins. Like I don't even know who you get to do that. That's going to be. Oh, and that's going to be. And obviously, like the Rams, they lose. It's like Aaron. Hey, y'all gotta apologize to me right now. I said the Rams are one Aaron Donald retirement away from being. And what happened? What happened, David? What happened?
You're tired like the next day.
Say you start.
I'm sorry.
All right, hey, it wasn't the next day. It was like a month. But hey, it still happened. It still goddamn happened. Aaron Donald, and now you got. Oh man, the Rams are gonna. Man. Oh man, like they gotta.
All right, yeah, fair enough. Then you have my final in Miami, but yeah, I just think the Rams. You lose Aaron Donald retires on your off season. That's the tough break.
That's a tough break. Hey,
any guys got any other losers with free agency?
I'm trying to think. I think Izzy kind of touched on it, but Green Bay to an extent is a loser. Like again, like you have. Like you got Jordan Love on a rookie contract.
Have you guys seen the meme that's going around the internet? It's Aaron Rodgers running out with that flag. It's the Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs era in Green Bay.
I will say this. I mean, getting signing Xavier McKinney was an upgrade at safety.
He's a good football player.
He's a really good football player. Josh Jacobs just wasn't any good last year, but I mean they're looking at the fact that he's 3 years younger than Aaron Jones and the previous year before last, where last year was a lot of dysfunction. Last year was a ton of dysfunction last year with the Raiders, with Josh McDaniels and the quarterback situation. And everything was just he was injured. But the previous season,
listen to him trying to justify it.
No. You know what, David? Look, finally, I mean, you guys had a great offseason. You guys had a better offseason, but you guys also had more.
What's he trying to justify?
Losing Aaron Jones over Josh Jacobs. I just don't think I think that's a lateral move. I think they're
I'm not saying it's an upgrade. It is a lateral move to me.
He's not he's not saying, he never said it was an upgrade. The only thing he said was that tandem was going to be nice, not without knowing that Aaron Jones was going to be released.
Yeah, I didn't know, man. I mean, shit, man. Sometimes I come home from work and I knock out for a couple hours. So I didn't know. You know what I mean? Just like I know Chase Young going to the Saints. I was knocked out. That news came out at 4 p.m. I looked up yesterday. I was like, fuck, the Saints signed Chase Young at 7:30 p.m. I was like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, no, I think the Packers are. Winners and losers at the same time. I mean, you upgrade one position, but at the other position, I mean, Aaron Jones was a big cog of the offense. You hope that Josh Jacobs is healthy enough to be the running back that you want.
I think we kind of touched on it when they made that move. I think the one thing they're going to miss with Aaron Jones is obviously his route running out of the backfield. I don't think Josh Jacobs is the pass catcher that Aaron Jones is.
No, I don't think he doesn't even have a receiving touchdown in his career.
That's kind of, and what Izzy said about the Packers are they're winners and losers at the same time. That's kind of how I feel about the Raiders. Also, yeah, you get Gerald Wilkins. I think that was like the biggest splash of free agency. But you lose Josh Jacobs and you replace him with what? This Raiders fan is talking about. We got Zamir White. Zamir White has 536 yards.
That's why you got the draft, bro.
They got Alexander Madison today too.
Who?
Or yesterday.
Man, he was trash last season. Anyways,
come on.
So
bro.
moving on from winners and losers. Let's just talk about the best available players. Who do you think are the guys that can give some value to some other NFL team?
Well, I think
throw some names out there. I don't even know who the fuck is available right now.
I think the best available player left was Mike Williams, but he signed with the Jets.
I think the best players available right now are Jamal Adams, is probably the best overall football player. Justin Simmons, the free safety previously the Denver Broncos. David Bakhtiari, who's still unsigned. I was like penciling him in for the Jets. I figured he'd just be there. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case now that they brought Tyron.
Is Stephon Gilmore still out there?
Stephon Gilmore is still out there, yeah.
Yeah, Mekhi Jackson. I'm looking at the list right now. Odell Beckham Jr.
Eddie Jackson is still available. J.C. Jackson, Xavier Howard, who has a billion kids.
Wait, what?
Michael Dell, Tyler Boyd.
Wait, hold on. What did you just say? What did you just say?
Anyways.
Who has a billion kids?
Michael Thomas is on the free agent right now?
Yeah, they cut him.
Really?
Wait, who? Wait, I go back to what you just said.
Xavier Howard. Xavier Howard has like 8 kids.
Xavier Howard has. Oh yeah, Xavier Howard does have. Yeah, he's giving Antonio Cromartie and Phillip Rivers a run for their money.
Micah Hyde is still available. Logan Thomas is still available. Connor Williams is a fantastic center. At least was in his prime. He's still probably give some value.
Out of all those guys. Jadeveon Clowney's probably got to be the best available. Stephon Gilmore at 33. I mean, how many 33? I mean, he's probably got one or two. I mean, he's got to go to like a team that's like right there to like be a Super Bowl contender. Because he was on with the Cowboys, but how many 33-year-old cornerbacks are still elite?
I mean, Stephon Gilmore was pretty elite last year.
Not a lot.
Not a lot though, David. Not a lot. And after 33, they kind of go downhill.
Stephon Diggs.
Really, after 32, 31, 32, they go downhill.
I think Stephon Diggs' saving grace last year was DeRon Bland exploded.
Right.
Yeah,
DeRon Bland was a ball hog.
We also got to keep in mind, they did lose Trayvon Diggs. So everybody that was a corner on the Cowboys pretty much had to play, I ain't going to say out of position, but they all got bumped up a slot. So Stephon Diggs, who was probably signed on to be your number 2 or number 3, gets bumped up a slot. DeRon Bland goes from being probably your nickel corner to your number 2, and nobody expected him to have the season that he had. He still got his ass cooked quite a few times, because that happens. Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs also got cut from Seattle. David Bakhtiari, hey bro, ride off to the sunset. Hey, hell of a career.
Oh man, he did a hell of a career, bro. You can't play no more. I mean, some injuries will cut up to you, buddy.
You can't play no more, bro. I don't know Like I might
He
have
got a beautiful wife.
I might have I might have you 1 week, and then I probably won't see you again till like week 10.
I think that girl is his wife, man. She's fine, boy. Anyways, hey, no, for real. Right to TJ, he got a little nice little, you know, nice little light skin, yeah, little shawty looking decent. Anyways, hey, Tyler Boyd. I know he still got some left in the tank, man.
He's been linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He has requested a trade. He requested the trade, correct?
No, that's T. Higgins.
T. Higgins, my bad. He got tagged, and I want, and rightly so. Like those are players who see the writing on the wall. Like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, they're and I forgot who else. They're waiting on each other. Whoever gets
they trying to team up.
Like, it's like whoever gets that deal, whoever gets that record-breaking deal for a receiver, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, like bro, like they see the writing on the wall. Because if they give Chase all that bread, ain't gonna be a lot left for them. So T. Higgins is trying to get ahead, like he's trying to get a jump on that.
Hold on. I like that you brought up Justin Jefferson. What is the likeliness? I've been hearing these rumors. What are the likeliness that Justin Jefferson ends up in Cincinnati and pairs up with his old quarterback and his old buddy wide receiver Jamar Chase?
Zero.
Why say zero?
Because the Vikings unless they get like 3 first-round picks, like the farm. Like
why wouldn't Cincinnati do that?
It'd have to be like a Ricky Williams type return.
Why wouldn't Cincinnati do that? Why would they do that?
They cannot afford. They would not be able. They would not be able to afford Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson's contracts all at the same time.
And
like
they would
literally. Those would be the only 3 players on the team.
And they just signed Troy Brown. So they got Orlando Brown Jr. and Troy Brown out on as their 2 tackles. So you got so like
that trade will not happen, but we just talked about NFL free agency. Tomorrow on the show, man, I never fixed that damn graphic. Tomorrow on the show, we're going to be doing our first NFL mock draft. I know Izzy already has one. I should link to that if you want to go check that out before tomorrow's show. But we're going to be doing our first NFL mock draft. You don't want to miss any of that content. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm David Huffman, TJ Hopkins, Israel Vera. Gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We bring
the heat, baby.
And we're going to
bring the heat, son.
Use the heat because it's going to be like 30 degrees tomorrow.
Not bringing no heat nowhere. I'm enjoying it. Don't turn the heat on in my house, son. Don't touch that dial, baby.
We'll be back here tomorrow. You guys all have a good night. Stay safe out there. Peace out.
See ya.